year 2028, one Big Mac will equal $1 million. From the Gospel of John McAfee. Bro, just learn to code. The Project Freedom Podcast.
Boom, it's all over. Developers are going to zero. AI is coming to take over the world. Guys, what are we going to do? What are we going to do, guys? What are we going to do? As you guys saw from the title and the thumbnail, there is a new AI and it creates code. Well, all right. So first of all, there's already been AI that creates code. We'll get to that in a second. But where I am deriving this information for this lovely stream for you guys tonight is indubitably right here. So guys, check this out. And of course, they're going to ask me for a subscription to Wired. Get a subscription to Wired now. Only $10. Oh, yeah, no thanks. Go away. And as you can see by the title of the article, AI can write codes just like humans can, bugs and all. Aha, I tricked you guys. Honk, honk. I tricked y'all. Bet you didn't know that was coming. But if we actually want to look into it, I mean, this is totally predictable, right? Because you got to think, like, who writes the code for this code that writes code? New tools that help developers write software also generate similar mistakes. You don't say. You don't say. You know what, guys? And actually, before we even read this, something that one of my professors in school, one of the only ones that I thought were good, no offense, Ole Miss CSCI department. He said, and the dude always said this: the code is only as smart as the person who wrote it. And I guess we don't talk about like the actual intelligence level of the people that wrote this stuff, but you could easily just say code is only as efficient or only as good at doing a task as the person who wrote it, because you can write code to do whatever you want algorithmically, right? And if that algorithm stemmed from the thoughts and ideas of the person that wrote it, and it's identical, well, then the process is going to be identical, and also the flaws are going to be identical if there are flaws, right? But let's look at it and let's see what these people have to say. And it says, some software developers are now letting artificial intelligence help write their code. Wow. They're finding that AI is just as flawed as humans. Last June, GitHub, a subsidiary of Microsoft. I didn't even know GitHub was a subsidiary of Microsoft. Oh, no. That provides tools for hosting and collaborating on code, released a beta version of a program that uses AI to assist programmers start typing command, a database query, or a request to an API in that program called Copilot, which I had a stream about this before, if you guys remember. Copilot will guess your intent and write the rest. And we looked at that, and I don't even know if anybody in this one right now remembers that stream, but we looked into that, and you know what? We may as well pull that thing up again. I'll have you guys know that I signed up for the waiting list for GitHub Copilot. Please forgive me, friends. All right, so your AI pair programmer with GitHub Copilot, get suggestions for whole lines or entire functions right inside your editor. So let's see, and obviously, let's press the replay button. So obviously, this is going to be this is their coup de grace, I guess, right? Like, they're not going to advertise the worst or when somebody it makes a mistake, obviously, right? Duh. But let's check this out. Let's see it in real time, if this even is anything other than just a GIF. So determine whether the sentiment of a text is positive, use a web service. So, all right. So it looks like they just simply went ahead and typed a comment of what they wanted to do, and Copilot went ahead and did that for them. So maybe can I edit this? Bruh, can I edit this? Let's see. Function create summaries. Now, how did that know? What did it ping off of in there? The parameters? The parameters? What? Let's go Python. Parse list of expenses and return the list of triples, data, value, and currency. Ignore lines starting with, okay. Lines starts with, hey, not bad. Not bad, right? Ruby, create shipping address. Oh my God. How did it do that? It's over, guys. It's over. It's over for us. Well, okay. So first of all, you obviously have to know a good bit about programming to be able to use this thing. Otherwise, how are you going to tell it to do? But it appears, friends, it appears that you just tell this thing what to do, and it works, right? At least on their advertisements. So let's get back to the actual article that we had over here. And let's see what Alex Naka, a data scientist at a biotech firm who signed up to test Copilot, said about this. He says, the program can be very helpful, and it has changed the way he works. I quote, it lets me spend less time jumping to the browser and looking up API docs or examples in Stack Overflow. Okay, so that in that case, that's pretty nifty, right? He says it does feel like a little less work on my work has shifted from being a generator of code to being a discriminator of it. Okay. I mean, nothing like super crazy there. But Naka has found that errors can creep into his code in different ways. There have been times where I've missed some kind of subtle error when I accept one of its proposals, he says, and it can be really hard to track this down, perhaps because it seems like it makes errors that have a different flavor than the kind I would make. All right. The risk of AI generating faulty code may be surprisingly high. Duh. Researchers at NYU recently analyzed code generated by Copilot that found that for certain tasks where security is crucial, the code contains security flaws around 40% of the time. Yeah, that's a pretty high number. The figure is, and I quote, gentlemen, is a little bit higher than I would have expected, says Brendan Dolan Gavit, a professor at NYU involved in the analysis. But the way Copilot was trained wasn't actually to write good code. It was just to produce the kind of text that would follow a given prompt. Okay, so this is not even real AI. Despite such flaws, Copilot and similar AI-powered tools may herald a sea change in the way software developers write code. There's growing interest in using AI to help automate more mundane work, but Copilot also hides some of the pitfalls of today's AI technology. Here's a quote by this guy. It seems like it makes more errors that have a different flavor than the kind I would make. While analyzing the code made available for Copilot, Dolan Gavit found that it includes a list of restricted phrases. These were apparently introduced to prevent the system from blurting out offensive messages or copying well-known code written by someone else. All right, well, nothing surprising there, friends. Nothing surprising there. Max Nita says, get Z likes up. Yes, please, get Z likes up. But who will write the code for the AI that codes its own code? Good question. Exactly, my friend. What is up this great Monday? This is Wade Emery. What's up, my friend? You remember that stream? I could actually see this being pretty good with infrastructure TBH. Yeah, I mean, dude, think of all the monotonous stuff that you have to go and like write like lines of code that aren't really like logically intensive. Any type of YAML configuration. Yep, that security part is a pretty big deal. Yeah, and I mean, again, it's not like it's doing anything like guys. This is like the same as like IntelliSense, except it's like IntelliSense but a little bit better. Like it. We already have this kind of stuff in Visual Studio's code. People have plugins for like, you know, JavaScript snippets. Insert your favorite language here, snippets. So, yeah, I don't think it's over, guys. I don't think it's over. I don't think we're going to zero. But let's look back, see if there's anything else interesting in here. Oigi Demore, Vice President of Research at GitHub and one of the developers of Copilot, says security has been concerned from the start. Percentage of flawed code cited in NYU research is only relevant for a subset of code where security flaws are more likely. DeMoore invented CodeQL, a tool used by the NYU researchers that automatically identifies bugs in code. He said GitHub recommends that developers use Copilot together with CodeQL. So now you got to use it with something else. Huh. OpenAI. So that's what GitHub was built off of, or the GitHub Copilot was built off of OpenAI, a prominent AI company doing cutting-edge work in machine learning. The model called Cotex consists of large artificial neural network trained to predict the next character in both text and computer code. The algorithm ingests billions of lines of code stored on GitHub. Not all of it perfect in order to learn how to write code. I can already see this going very wrong. Oh, geez, good grief. Good grief, good grief, good grief. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know how you guys feel about that because, I mean, look, here's the thing. If it can automate the part of my code that is monotonous and like stupid that you shouldn't, that doesn't, like, that you're sitting there like structuring out the framework or the architecture or something after you already have the design in mind, then that's great. It's not really going to like, it's not, I don't think it's going to like be bad for anybody. If anything, it's going to be better. What have we seen over time in like the last 20 years as far as like programming goes? Developers are lazy. Developers don't like to write code. The least amount of code that a developer can write, the better. The better for them. And the better for me too. Sorry. Sorry, not sorry. So we've made these tools that make development easier. The barrier to entry is lower now. The amount of time that you spend can be used more on developing things that are harder and like logically intensive for yourself, as opposed to just actually having to go sit there and before you even get to the important stuff, have to like copy and paste all this like old code from somewhere else to start over again, yada, yada, yada. I see this as being a net positive, guys. I don't see anything negative about this whatsoever in any way, shape, or form. And I think this will just make everyone's lives easier. But agree to what Cody said. The security part is a kind of a big deal. But I mean, if we're doing like stuff for like just writing regular functions in JavaScript, I don't see that as like, oh, here's more, guys. Here's more. Hold up. Let's see, what is this one? VS Code, more than autocomplete. So it's like autocomplete better. GitHub Copilot is powered by Codex, the new AI system. We just talked about that. GitHub Copilot understands significantly more code context than most code assistants. So whether it's in docstring, comment, function name, or code itself, GitHub Copilot uses the context you're providing and synthesizes code to match. Together with OpenAI, we're designing GitHub Copilot to get smarter at producing safe and effective code as developers use it. So let's see what this one, he just says, get average runtime of successful runs in a second. Wow. Yeah, I mean, like, who wants to write that function? I'm being lazy now. Sorry, guys. Skip the docs and start searching for examples. GitHub Copilot helps you stay focused right in your editor. Nice. Yeah, I don't know about you guys. I want this. I don't know if y'all gonna freak out. I want this. That's totally fine. Fetch tweets. Oh my goodness. Constant token equals process environment. Twitter bearer token. Fetch tweets. Wowzers. Flight reports.
Trying to code in an unfamiliar language by Googling everything is like navigating a foreign country with just a phrase book. Using GitHub Copilot is like hiring an entrepreneur.
Says Harry Edwards. What does Gunika Batra say?
It surprises me with how precisely it understands my comment and generates accurately suggested. The ability to choose from 10 different suggestions was the cherry on top. Oh.
Wowzers. Yeah, I mean, let's see. Okay, how it works. Codex, OpenAI's model. Public code and text off the internet. Okay, I'm sorry. GitHub Copilot services, private editor. Okay. Yeah. I mean, all right, friends. It literally just does the same thing that we do, guys. It just does the same thing that we do. So is there anything wrong with having like something automate that? Cody Moose in the Who says if they can get the security thing down, it would cut inferior automation down by at least 30%. That would be pretty sick. Pretty sick if you ask me, bruh. Riley says that voice. A lot of it is rinse and repeat. Yeah, I mean, it looks like autocomplete to me. It looks like autocomplete that searches the internet for you. I think we know how that could turn out. I think everyone in here that is a developer has written some code a time or two that they've bootstrapped the internet and without thinking too much about it, like, whoops, totally didn't see that coming out of nowhere. Alas, friends, yeah, I don't think we're on like. I mean, this isn't. So the thing is, like they said in the article, this thing isn't trained to intelligently write code. All right, it's trained to sense out what you want it to write, go on the internet, look for you, and then paste the best suggestion that it can think of. That's it. That's it, and that's all. Frequently asked questions. Does GitHub Copilot write perfect code? Nobody fucking asked this question. This is a joke. Take this, GitHub, take this off of here. Nobody actually asked this question. Come on, man. Come on, man. Man. No, GitHub Copilot tries to understand your intent and to generate the best code it can. Yeah, exactly. But the code suggests may not always work or even make sense. While we were working hard to make GitHub Copilot better, code suggested by GitHub Copilot should be carefully tested, reviewed, and vetted like any other code. As the developer, you are always in charge. I'm in charge here. Do you feel in charge, Mr. GitHub Copilot? Am I insane, guys? Am I the one who's not worried about this being problematic at all? Anyway, just hire me, says Cody Moose. I'll write code that makes no sense. Yeah, I mean, we can just go ahead and slap together some lines for you, buckaroo. Call it a day, and it'll all be okay. Let me see, guys. Let me check my calendar. So today is the 7th, and I believe I do declaratively believe that enrollment. We're gonna have to start. I know that enrollment for the next course is gonna end on February 20th. All right, and then it's gonna start the 22nd. I don't know when it's gonna start open for enrollment. But as I did last time, I'm obviously going to be streaming every day prior to, so you guys can sit here and see my funny faces. Me too, says Clay Buster. Yeah, we'll get them. We'll get you too, Clay. We'll get you too. So, but yes, yes. Speaking of the new course, Bootcamp X. I'm actually going to call it by a boot camp now, since that seems to be the politically correct thing to do. But the point here is, guys, in essence, we're just going to make it 4 weeks long, or rather 4 weeks short. We're going to be doing 2 projects and then basically an entire week of getting everyone set up with a resume. And I think some of the people in the yearly group are going to be able to benefit from that as well, especially new guys. So that was my secret plan to kill 2 birds with 1 stone. But I'll let you guys know. I will indeed let you guys know when we're going to start opening for enrollment. And if you want to go and find that out yourself, without having to depend on me, if you go to this website right here, developerdirection.com, and put your name or email in that field, that will be it. And then you will not have to worry about GitHub Copilot AI coming out of the computer and strangling you while you're sleeping and taking your gerbs. I don't think there's anything else like that out there. Like, I think, well, let's see. Let me see. I want to see if they have reviews on this thing, guys. That's what I really want. But I mean, you have to be. So if we go back to where I was here. Oh, sorry, friends. I took this off for you guys. If we go back to where I was up here, sign up. Yeah, so I'm already on the wait list. Access is limited to a small group of testers during the typical preview of GitHub Copilot. Sign up today for your chance to try it out and help us improve. Man, that's really lame. But I wonder, what if I do like Copilot? Pilot. See, there's any like comments, people's repos. I spelled that definitely wrong. Let's do it. All GitHub. Documentation for GitHub Copilot. Whose repo is this? Oh, this is GitHub's actual repo. Oh, excuse me. Yeah, let's go ahead and watch this, friends. Let's go ahead and start it too. Yeah, let's do that. Listen, and by the way, guys, if you want to go and follow me on GitHub, feel free. It's just github.com/JPCOSTAN. Go for it, fellas. All right, friends. That's it for tonight. As always, I love you all. Don't hide from the AI under your bed. And have a great evening, friends. See ya.